Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 2022 Disney Channel original movie, DCOM Under Wraps 2. So this is the sequel to the remake Under Wraps, which came out in 21, which is based on the 97 Disney Channel original film, which you can't watch on Disney Plus, which makes no sense. We already talked about that in the Under Wraps review. Now we're talking about Under Wraps 2. So it's a year later. It's the following Halloween. Our kids are all grown up. You got Marshall. The Malachi, I forget his last name. He plays the character of Marshall. They made him a skater boy in this. Not so much in the sense of he's actually skating, but that whole streetwear motif and the foopy hair. Like, I was very surprised. Very surprised. I didn't see that happening within the first, but I liked the character development within the characters. Gilbert, Gutsy Gilbert, yeah. He has this Gutsy Gilbert channel where he faces fears and stuff like that. Their friend Amy, Gilbert and Amy are working on the school newspaper together. But the three amigos is becoming a twosome a bit because Marshall's feeling left out from the newspaper stuff, from the video, content creating stuff, things like that. And they're waiting to see, Harold the Mummy again and his priestess love interest female mummy they named Rose aptly. So what's interesting about this film is that I loved it, and I'm surprised because it's, first of all, it's a DCOM. They're supposed to be cute, they're supposed to be cheesy, there's not supposed to be any substance material to these things. Bro, I did not expect to get teary-eyed at midnight while watching this, as I'm doing various loads of laundry, because when you work two jobs, that's the only time you can do it, midnight. So I could have been overtired. I don't know, but I got teary-eyed at one point, and I was like, what's happening right now? What is happening right now as I'm watching this film? So Amy has a dad who just divorced her other dad, but he's getting remarried, and so it's now a matter of going back to her original town, Rockport, which is mentioned in the first film, where her two dads are now, her dad and stepdad are now going to be getting married. And so it's all Halloween themed. It's this haunted hotel that they're all staying at, where the party's going to be at. She's in charge of getting the rings, which are in a coffin box. Very cool. And in the process of all of this, there's another mummy named Sobek, who is from another museum, who has the same kind of amulet that Rose and Harold have, which gets, when it touches the moonlight, it activates the user, something to that extent. So Sobek, turns out, was the best friend of Harold, whose real name is not Harold, but that's just what they call him. And the had a love interest of Rose, even though Rose likes Harold and Rose doesn't like Sobek, but Sobek likes Rose, and Sobek was Harold's best friend at one point. So it's a whole love triangle of, what's going on. So Sobek's quest is to find Harold and Rose, fight Harold, win Rose, basically. But this is happening throughout different states, and then eventually getting to, we're primarily in the state of Washington. And then the main battle takes place, at the wedding and afterwards, and in a warehouse museum. A lot of archaeological stuff is talked about, antiquities is talked about in this as well. It's neat. I like that historical aspect, which you talked about in the first film, going back to the second film. Very cool. You don't really see that often. So, two parts got me choked up. And again, it could have been I was overtired. It could have been I was doing laundry at midnight. Who knows? Amy is very upset that she lost the rings because Sobek and his handler had taken them in the midst of trying to get information out of where Rose and Harold are, and she's talking to her dads about it. Her dad and her future stepdad Carl, and she's saying, it's not fair. You really love each other. You deserve these rings. And then the dads were saying something like, there was a time where we couldn't get married, and we don't need rings to symbolize our love. It's just, everything else is just gravy. We have each other, we have our health, we have you, we're all okay. That's all that matters. Everything else is just gravy. And it just got me. I was like, oh my God, this is a Disney Channel original movie. Back in the day, we would have never had these kinds of conversations nor content, nor having a same-sex wedding at the end where you have the two grooms kissing each other it's pride flags waving around. I did not know anything about the subplot within this film. I only watched it because it was the sequel to the film that we just talked about, and the fact that it's a spooky Halloween film. It gives that Goosebumps vibe. Still love it, right? I did not expect the content in this to be so meaningful and to be so powerful within that verbiage, because it's so accurate that so many cishet individuals, dare I say, don't understand the struggle of love and acceptance, not just within your own immediate family community, but on a larger front, on a communal front, on a country front. It was a very powerful moment where you have the different generations, if they're 12-ish in this film, they're like Gen Alpha, I think. Yeah, so if you have the Gen Alpha generation who's only grown up with same-sex marriages, that they weren't there around conscious, poignantly, intellectually understanding the relevance back in 2015 when that actually was law of the land, made law of the land, to have the Gen X talking to the Gen Alpha about that there was a time, and I was like, bro, I did not expect to get this deep into this kind of film. It was very, very powerful. I have to say the word powerful. Again, I can't say it was just me doing laundry at midnight. I can't say it was me being overtired. This was a very monumentous moment that a lot of people overlook, because there's so many different various within watching Disney Channel original films from the 90s, from the 2000s, from the 2010s. These types of conversations, these types of character development is very taboo. Back in 2006, you couldn't have Troy and Gabriella kiss on TV. Back in 2007, you couldn't have Sharpay Evans wearing a two-piece bathing suit while she's singing about fabulous, right? That is my simple request. She had to wear a one-piece. There were certain things that couldn't be done, which are just different now, right? Season 4 of High School Musical, the musical, the series. You have Sophia Wilde's character wearing this gorgeous dress, but very much exemplifying her female form. That was a thing that would never have been a thing back in the day. So it's a wonderful thing seeing the change and progress of celebration of body, celebration of culture, celebration of life. And I really like that it's moved into a love and acceptance, we not me mindset that I didn't expect. I didn't expect that this would be so we not me. I talk about we not me so many times recently, specifically within the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse review we did, and the Red, White, and Royal Blue film review, we not me. Just love that phrase because it's true. Community versus isolation. Stay back. No, we were going to work together, right? We're all in this together, right? Let's use some life lessons from High School Musical, which is a DCOM. So that was the first statement I had to make in regards to getting choked up at midnight while watching this film. The second aspect of this, Marshall's character, Malachi's character, and he's an awesome little dude. He's very talented. I'm very excited to see what he does in his later teens and his early 20s. He could play, various characters. He's very talented. And the kid who plays Gilbert, too. It's very, very, very funny. So the character of Marshall is dealing with stuff. He doesn't like that he's being excluded from his friends' things. He then just freaks on them and gets it off his chest. But they have open dialogue about it later towards the film. It's the build up and then they talk. And I was like, wow, this is important to see. It's not just blowing things out of proportion, throwing things, fist fights. We're going to have a fight because I don't know how to use my words. They have these characters use their words. Very different from back in the day. I'm not familiar with modern, current Disney Channel storylines, plot points, dialogue. I know Disney Plus is different than Disney Channel, but I'm not familiar with the Disney Channel, the current 2020 Disney Channel stuff. So to have this kind of conversation, for the first conversation we talked about, and then this conversation with the friends, I was like, wow, this is very progressive to have people converse about their feelings, talk. I am feeling this way. You did this, I feel this, let's talk about it. Beautiful. He's very emotional at one point. He throws himself on a couch in his Dracula costume. I thought it was hysterical. But then Harold, the mummy, holds him And Malachi Marshall's character is just, he's upset and he's crying. It's fake crying, of course, but Harold just like holds him in a very protective parent kind of way, and then looks at the other characters like, "How dare you make my friend cry?" I didn't expect so much emotion in this sequel film, which is not a musical. It's just another chapter in this Under Wraps franchise. They alluded to a third. I don't think it's going to happen. The second didn't do that well, ratings wise, but it was so good. It was so good. I'm very impressed. I'm very surprised. I did not expect to like it as much as I did. I was going in again in a mindset of, this is a neat, cute, spooky, middle school kind of goosebumps kind of film. That's all I had hopes for. And this blew me away. I did not expect to like it as much as it did. I didn't expect to see so much subtext. But I guess you got to do laundry at midnight and watch a decom to understand the minutia of everything. The wonderful various layers of life. It was wonderful. Aside from that, some little facts that I had to look up, because I liked looking through the trivia of this. This was one of 2 DCOMs, Disney Channel original movies, that did not premiere on a Friday. This premiered on a Sunday, randomly. Starstruck, back in 2010, I believe, also did not premiere on a Friday. Something with, this is the second DCOM that is not a musical that had a sequel. So like Cheetah Girls is musicals, are musicals, they have sequels. High School Musical are musicals, they have sequels. Camp Rock is a musical, it has a sequel. What else is a musical that had a sequel? Zombies, which that's on our list. That's what we're watching next. There's 3 of those. Those are musicals. So Twitches and Twitches 2 was the first DCOM to get its sequel. And this is the second DCOM to get a sequel that's not a musical. Conveniently, though, they're both Halloween related, which is also funny. So there's a little fun facts on that. Under Wraps 2, 2022 Disney Channel original movie, the DCOM that it was. Very impressed. Wild how impressed I am. I will definitely be watching this again. It was very well done. Very well done. On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.